Hello, and welcome to your 10-minute mobility routine. We have 5 movements today, each lasting 2 minutes, with a very short rest in between in order to transition to the next movement. So without further ado, we will begin with twisting bear. So to start, for the twisting bear, we will begin as we would any other bear. Fingers spread nice and wide, point your fingers straight ahead, hips go up in the air, and instead of just our normal bear step, every time you take a step with one hand, that foot that normally would follow, now that foot turns out to the side, your hips turn away from the side that the hand of the forward hand, and you're going to drop that hip as much as you can. Keep the arm straight, swim, reach the other arm over to switch sides. Arm straight, bring that hip down. It does not have to touch the ground. As you improve your mobility and your strength in this movement, you will be able to sink deeper. But first, focus on getting your shoulder over your wrist, locking that elbow out, pushing the ground away through the heel of the palm, and then letting your hip drop. We are not focusing on cardio here. We're focusing on your skill and your strength in order to improve your mobility. Because mobility is active, and you are active. If you come to a wall or a barrier, feel free to just push up, rotate around, and continue on. Keep that arm locked out. Swim. Now, if you find that your shoulder wants to go towards your ear, keep that shoulder away from the ear. Shoulders are ear poison, so we keep them separate. We're almost done with this first 2-minute round. Next will be a side plank on your elbow with your knees bent. Okay, so side plank. We'll go right side to begin and begin. So bottom leg in front, top leg in back / underneath you, elbow directly under your shoulder. What we're going to ask you to do here is push. Push your elbow and your forearm down, and then also push the knee of the extended leg down as well. It'll be very easy to let your shoulder come towards your ear here as well. Really push those away. The more you push, the more you're going to feel tissue, stuff, if you will, around the armpit and the side of your body. Now, if you want, you can take your hand, place it on your bottom knee, your front knee, and then let's add focus down here. We've been focusing here. Now, actively push that down knee into the ground. What you find when you push this knee into the ground is that is what helps your hip come up. So I want you to focus on driving your knee down as opposed to lifting your hip up. We do want your hips to elevate. We do want your torso to come up, but we want to do so in a straight line. And to do so authentically, it needs to come from a push through the elbow / forearm and through the knee. You're doing great here. Now, if this is feeling easy, a couple of things. 1, push harder. 2, you can add some inner thigh on the front leg. You should have some here. You can add some front leg inner thigh by pushing that knee down into the ground. Whew. And that'll start to light some things up. Might have a little shake and bake going on in the inner thigh. We are A-okay with that. We're almost there. Keep pushing. It's all about the push here. And rest. Switch sides. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Chris, how is this going to help my torso rotation and push? Well, torso rotation is actually, we think of it as like one movement, but I'd like you to think about the patterns that create rotation. So, like push and push. So, Rotation itself is more of a push and pull that occurs with the upper body. So one side is pulling while the other side is pushing or reaching. And that really helps create the rotation and make it more authentic. So what we're trying to do here is to develop strength. Strengthen your obliques, strengthen your ability to create stiffness in one part of your body, because that ability to create that base makes it easier for you to then create rotation or move against that base. But without that stability, it's very hard to create rotation, or at least create rotation without additional compensations. There we go. Whew. This is, I don't know about you, but I'm cooking on the inside here. So again, push through that elbow, push through that knee, your oblique. Whew, it should be talking to you. Now, you should get some inner thigh here on the top leg, but if you want some inner thigh on the bottom leg, you gotta push as well. Push through that knee. Next up is a torso bridge, a thoracic bridge, as it's more well known. Take your hand, place it here in front. If you need help or aid, you can always put your hand here. If this isn't enough, you can always use a yoga block under this hand. Okay, next up, thoracic rotation. So a couple different ways to get into this. You can simply start here in our lounge position. Take one arm off. I like to bring my hand to my shoulder and then bridge up. Okay. Now with this, you can let the knees come forward, shoulder over wrist. Play around with where you need that mobility. And again, same cue as before. We're not trying to reach our hips up. We're trying to push our hand down. And once you max out what you get with that hand, more hip extension is going to come from the feet. Really connect with your feet. So load. Keep pushing through that hand. Once you feel like you've maxed it out, add the feet. Now, that foot helps rotate your hip that direction while you keep your eyes on your fingers. And that's again why I like to put my hand here. If I open this up, that will let my torso follow my pelvis. As you can tell, I'm starting to get more challenged with my breathing. Sometimes you might think that when you're breathing heavy or heavier, it's cardio. But with this, we're actually restricting your ability to breathe in certain parts of your upper body. So it makes it harder for you to breathe maybe the way you want to breathe. When it comes to mobility, flexibility, all these different things, it's really important that you increase the variability of your body to breathe and find comfort in certain positions. Not just to make it hard, we'll switch sides, but so your body has more options. And that's why we do mobility work. Not just to mobilize ourselves, but so that we have more options to move. When we have more options to move, we will less likely compensate to create the semblance or vision of something without having owned it and earned it on the inside. Let me explain that. The way something looks on the outside does not necessarily indicate how it works on the inside. Especially with the human body being as complex as it is, you can engage things in different orders and patterns and get something that looks the same on the outside but feels very different on the inside. And the more you can accept and embrace that, The more you begin to look at movements not as things simply to do or to conquer, but as things to learn from and to use to develop not just your body, but also your mind. Whew. As we come to a close here, I just want to thank you for joining me in this today. Hopefully, you're feeling the movement that we're trying to earn today. Yeah, almost there. Oh yeah, shoulders are cooking. So that is this torso rotation routine. I hope you enjoyed it. Do this as often as you want / need to. Shouldn't really take away from anything. Should really help to benefit your ability to move. So if you're trying to do pull-ups, chin-ups, presses, bridges, things of that sort, this should open up the shoulders and help you to move more authentically through your spine. Thanks again. Have a great one.